This is the 30B6 deposition of Guillermo Lopez in the matter of State of Washington versus LLR Inc. et al., cause number 19-2-02325-2, SEA, in the State of Washington, King County Superior Court, and was noticed by Joseph Canada. The time now is approximately 2:14 p.m. on the 7th day of July, 2020, and we are convening via Buell Virtual Depositions. My name is Kathy Zach from Buell Real-Time Reporting, LLC, located at 1325 4th Avenue, Suite 1840 in Seattle, Washington, 98101. Will counsel please identify themselves for the record, after which the court reporter may swear in the witness.
Good afternoon. This is Joe Canada for the Office of Attorney General with the State of Washington. With me is Brina Roos.
And William Floratis for the defendants and deponent. Also present is Whitney Floratis, my law clerk.
Your what?
Law clerk.
Thank you. Will you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon again, Mr. Lopez. The court reporter just swore you in. I'm going to run through a few basic ground rules for the deposition that will make this afternoon go more smoothly. The first is that Cindy is taking down every word we say, which normally is quite challenging because people tend to talk at the same time. And it's especially challenging now because I believe Zoom will only play one speaker at a time. So it's not a normal way of conducting a conversation, but we really need to speak as slowly as possible and not speak over each other, so that way she can take down what we say. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
And the court reporter just put you under oath. And you understand that your testimony here is the same as if you're testifying in court?
Yes, I do.
Is there any reason you can't offer complete and accurate testimony here today?
Not that I'm aware of.
You don't take any sort of medications or anything that might impair your ability to remember things?
And can we go off the record for just a moment?
Certainly.
Going off the record, the time is approximately 2:17 p.m. Back on the record, the time is approximately 2:18 p.m.
And today, if you need a break at any time, let me know. Well, I'm happy to take one. The only caveat is that if there's a question pending, I'd ask that you answer the question before we go on a break. Does that sound fair?
Yes, it does.
And my only other request is that while we're conducting this deposition, that you not communicate electronically with anyone. I see that you have a computer in front of you, no emails, no text messages. It's fine to do that on break, but while we're actually conducting the deposition, I would ask that you refrain from communicating with anyone else. Does that sound fair?
Yes, it does. Actually, I disabled all my notifications, so I think it should be okay.
Perfect. So I'd like to start off by asking what you did to prepare for your deposition here today.
Just all I had was a meeting with Bill last week and the team. Nothing out of the norm. Just mainly just to confirm that I was going to be scheduled to come in today.
And who is the team that was at this meeting?
It was Bill, Floratis, and Liliana.
Yeah, Leanna Bash?
Yeah.
Great. And how long did that meeting last?
30 minutes, 40 minutes tops, maybe.
At that meeting, did they show you any documents?
I had an outline, just an outline of what key topics may be discussed in today's meeting.
So you wrote up an outline, or counsel provided you an outline?
I was given an outline.
And who gave that outline to you?
Liliana.
If you turn to your screen, I'll share the first exhibit with you. This will be exhibit 286. This is it's called the notice of deposition that establishes what topics you're going to be deposed on today.
Okay.
Your counsel has indicated that you will be representing LuLaRoe with respect to certain topics, and I just want to confirm that you are ready to talk about those topics.
Yes, I am.
So if you have a hard copy in front of you, your counsel might have printed it up for you. If you turn to the attached Exhibit A to this Exhibit 286, on page 3 and 4 are a list of different topics. On page 4, starting with item K, items K, L, and M under topic 2 have been designated on. Just going down through them. For topic 2K, do you see that there?
2K, yes.
Starts with bless.
Yes.
What did you do, if anything, to prepare on this topic?
He's talking about the whole thing listed there on K.
Nothing. I mean, the bless and the back office is currently in production. Audrey is a retired platform. I mean, I just need clarity when you mean, what did I prepare?
Well, so are you knowledgeable on this topic?
Yes, yes, I am.
And 2L, all the ways in which LuLaRoe facilitated and tracked the swapping of merchandise. Are you familiar with that topic?
Define swapping of merchandise.
Well, have you ever heard the term swap used at LuLaRoe?
No.
Okay. If I defined it as exchanging or selling merchandise between IFRs, is that a topic that you are familiar with?
Yes. The term that I use is wholesale transfers amongst retailers. And this is basically their inventory that they're doing a wholesale transfer between two retailers of garments.
So with that definition in mind, you are prepared, or you're knowledgeable on 2L.
If it's related to transferring inventory amongst retailers, then yes.
Item 2M, which is about the retailer map. Are you knowledgeable about the retailer map?
Yes.
Did you do anything in particular to prepare for either 2L or 2M here today?
No. I mean, I'm aware about the topic, and I can share what I do know of those specific topics.
Turning to page 5, the next page, under item 5, sub-item D, talking about tracking and analyzing trends in sales. Is that a topic in which you are knowledgeable?
Good question. I'm going to say I am knowledgeable. As to me pulling the data, no. We have a platform that's in production for our LuLaRoe employees that are mainly in the finance or compliance side and sales that have access to the data.
So your knowledge is just focusing on pulling the data itself.
That is correct. Basically, we use a platform that's subscribed with us. It's called Domo, and it's basically we just connect to our database sources, our data sets, where key process owners can view the data and analyze the data of the specific retail sales.
For the sake of an already tired court reporter, if you can speak a little bit slower, will help too.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
And other than your general knowledge, did you do anything to prepare on topic 5D?
No.
Turning to 5E, talks about reporting retail sales. Are you knowledgeable on this topic?
Yes, I'm knowledgeable depending on the question, because there's certain key things that I segregate myself from IT related to financials, just from security practices.
And when you separate from financials, who would be the other folks that are more finance focused that would be also knowledgeable?
That would just be anyone in the finance team, if it's Siri or our CFO, Noel Knighton.
Okay, so had you seen this document before? Did your counsel show this to you for today?
No.
You can put that aside. I want to start by talking a little bit about how you came to LuLaRoe. Before you started, I believe you started in 2016, is that right?
Yes, I did. I was hired. I was interviewed early November or late October of 2016, and basically was hired in late November. Early December was when I was in the office. I was transitioning out of my current employment.
And what was your current employment at that time?
I was the VP of IT, Infrastructure and Development for St. John Knits.
St. John Knits.
St. John Knits, yes.
Yeah,
It's
gotcha.
a luxury brand, women's apparel that manufactures ready-to-wear apparel.
And prior to LuLaRoe, had you worked at any multi-level marketing companies?
No,
Prior to LuLaRoe, had you worked at any direct sales companies?
no.
And what caused you to transition from your prior job to LuLaRoe?
Honestly, it was a referral. I was approached by the director of HR at the time, and for me, it was just an opportunity where I can grow my career as a C-level executive.
So the director of LuLaRoe HR approached you about an opportunity. Is that fair?
Yes.
Who was that director?
I'm going to say she's no longer with us. Elatus was the name. I can't recall the last name.
And before she approached you, had you ever heard of LuLaRoe?
No,
Had you ever met in LuLaRoe IFR?
no.
Was there you're currently the CTO, right?
Yes,
Were you hired into the CTO role in 2016?
yes, I was. That's what I applied for.
Was there a CTO, did you have a predecessor?
Actually, it was a newly created position. From my understanding, when I was introduced into the company, it was a new company looking for a CTO to help stabilize what they had and hope to grow the company's technology.
Was there an IT department at the time you were hired?
There was only 2 employees supporting IT, and basically IT at the time was a desktop admin and a network administrator.
Who were the 2 people in IT at the time?
The one was Amin Bakar and Aaron Barrett. And Amin was the IT manager at the time, no longer employed with LuLaRoe.
Is Aaron still there?
Aaron Baird, yes, he's still in supporting desktops.
And how big is your team now?
Good question. I have, with the right sizing that we did leading up to COVID, I'm going to say close to 15 employees in my department.
And do those 15 all report to you?
No, actually, I have two directs. I have a manager of software development and a manager of IT infrastructure.
I see. So 2 of them report to you. Do the other 13 report to the 2 managers?
That is correct.
I'm sorry, can you slow down and tell me the positions of the 2 managers and who they are?
Sure. One's the manager of software development, and the other position is the manager of IT infrastructure.
And who holds those 2 roles?
The software development manager is Todd Golding, and my IT infrastructure manager is James Skaggs.
How do you spell Skaggs?
Skaggs.
Great. And who do you report to?
I report to Mark Stidham.
Generally, what role does the IT department play, and what are its responsibilities? I'm sure it's a lot, but if you could summarize it succinctly, please do so.
Sure.
Objection form.
No, okay.
Oh, should have said there will be times today where your counsel objects, primarily to preserve objections on the record. If you have an answer, you're still obligated to provide one, unless your counsel instructs you not to answer.
Yeah, and so high level, just my role as the head of technology is to provide, it's twofold, because we provide IT solutions for the organization within the operations of the company. And then we have forward-facing systems that support our independent fashion retailers.
Does IT play any role in terms of providing bonus payments to IFRs?
No,
Providing,
Bonus payments to IFRs.
yeah, got it.
no, actually,
They answered.
what's that?
You answered.
Okay.
It sounded like you had another thought in mind. What was that thought?
No, again, I just want to clarify. My discipline model with my department is to segregate ourselves from financial service. Anything related to finances, we only support the technical operations or processes, but anything related to finances, we segregate ourselves from it. And that's just mainly just from compliance rules that we work with our auditors that come in within the organization.
Does IT play any role with respect to designing the leadership bonus plan?
No,
Objection form.
Does IT play any role in implementing the leadership bonus program?
no,
What departments does IT work with at LuLaRoe?
Well, we from the infrastructure, we support most of the operations within the warehouse operations for pick, pack, RFID, mostly the supply chain of any finished goods that come into the warehouse, receiving, fulfillment, curation, I guess. It's all related to our platform that we have in-house applications. And then from the development side, we support all our integrations related to our core systems that we have today in production for ERP, CRM, and then our retail wholesale platforms are managed through external teams that we work with closely in servicing those platforms. And these include just enhancements to the platform. If it's a feature request on a point of sale or a feature request on the ordering shopping cart.
So I want to drill down on a couple terms you used. In terms of development, you mentioned core systems, ERP, and DRM. What do those stand for?
ERP is our financial and supply chain system, or WMS, warehouse management. So we use NetSuite. That's our core platform for. It's our system of record for finances and inventory. And that's the ERP system. Our CRM, that's Salesforce. And that keeps a record of our IFRs of any cases that they open related to if it's their initial orders, their system support related to software issues that they may have, or bug releases or bug issues that they have on the platform.
And okay, so I think I misheard. So it's CRM?
Yes, it's a customer relationship management portal.
Got it.
And the company is Salesforce. That's what they're known for.
And then you mentioned on the wholesale side there being external teams. What did you mean when you said external teams?
That's we have a subscription with Exigo. That's our wholesale platform. And we work closely with Exigo on any external development that we can't support, that helped us in the early stages within the shopping cart for retailers to purchase inventory. And that's mainly their back office. The Exigo is the back office to the retailer, to the IFR.
And for the core reporter's benefit, I believe that's EXIGO.
That is correct.
So amongst all those different areas IT touches upon, is there one that consumes more of IT's time or resources than the other?
Well, what consumes our time is just any integrations that we support, because all our platforms are in the cloud. So we don't own a data center. It's not like a traditional IT where you have a computer room. Everything is in the cloud. So we have many services. So all the integrations that we have is what my department supports. And it's pulling and pushing data from our retail platform, our wholesale platform, to our ERP, and just having an organization of our customer records.
I'd like to get a sense on day to day what types of projects you might have worked on. So if you could put yourself back into the pre-COVID days when folks were actually going into the office, say January, what were some of the projects that you worked on in January?
Good question. I'm gonna have to think. Let's see. I think we have a lot of projects happening right now, mainly on the retail front, and they're just enhancements. We introduced a feature for retailers to be able to sell via live streaming. So most of our retailers that sell through Facebook, we introduced a live platform where they can use that platform versus Facebook to sell a live sale. It's called Bless Live. And then another feature related to Facebook is called Reply to Buy. Basically, in simple terms, when a consumer wants to shop from that retailer during a live stream, they can add a comment in Facebook and it'll automatically generate an invoice. So most of the projects that we're working on early in the year is related to our point of sale.
Is it related to what?
Point of sale.
Point of sale. Thank you.
And Bless.
I'd like to turn a little bit to some administrative questions regarding the company. I've heard a term called the huddle. Does that term have any meaning to you?
Yes.
What does it mean?
It's just a text thread that I'm in a group with my peers. So basically, we were doing earlier in the year, we would do a 9 a.m. call and just strategizing, what are some key initiatives that we're going to focus on that day and what departments can support.
And when you say your peers, who
These are my colleagues. These are the executives that I work with closely.
and who would that include?
It'll be Mark. It would be our CFO Noel. It could be Kenny. It could be Justin from marketing, and Michael from finance and production.
And is that list has that list changed over time?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, we will meet every Monday on our exec briefs, and then throughout the day, the week, we may just have a simple huddle call just to support any initiative that was happening that day.
And when did this text thread begin?
I don't recall. To be honest, I just can't recall. It's been a while.
It wasn't when you first started though in 2016, was it?
No. I mean, I get text messages, since I've been hired, I'll get text messages or emails from any of my peers, and it's just a simple response, or in some cases, maybe it was just an informative, just to keep me in the loop.
Okay. I'm going to turn now to talk about systems. And I think the best way to do this, is you are obviously far more knowledgeable about it, is for me to ask you to kind of outline various processes. So LuLaRoe purchases clothes from suppliers, right?
Correct.
And so when LuLaRoe purchases clothes from suppliers, how is that information ingested by LuLaRoe? What databases is it stored in? If you could explain the process from when products are purchased by LuLaRoe and then how it comes into LuLaRoe's inventory.
I'm having trouble hearing you. So, yeah, I feel like I'm missing a few words in there.
My question was, if you could explain the process and the databases where information is stored, reflecting when clothing is purchased by LuLaRoe and then included into LuLaRoe's inventory. And you said BOSS, that's BOSS.
That is correct.
It was an internal system. Who developed it?
The company that helps us with the development is called Tech Lions.
How do you spell that?
It's TECHLIANS. NCE.
And do they still support BOSS?
Yes, we still use those developers on any future requests that we get from our production teams. And it's related to just order flow management for designing from the design perspective.
Exego begin to be used?
We implemented Exego at the early stages of September of 2016, if I recall.
And earlier you talked about Oracle NetSuite. How long has LuLaRoe used Oracle NetSuite?
That came in mid 2017.
And before mid 2017, when physical receipt was taken, where would it go? Since NetSuite was available.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said right there.
So before 2017, before LuLaRoe had NetSuite, when it took physical receipt of products from its suppliers, where would that be documented?
If I'm not mistaken, finance was using QuickBooks at the time, and they would probably manage a spreadsheet on the inventory levels during that time. There was a lot of manual processes leading up to the ERP, prior to the ERP.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Manual processes leading up to what?
To our ERP.
Thank you.
And along those same lines, before 2016/17, when RFIDs were put in place, how did LuLaRoe physically count its inventory?
Physically what?
Physically count its inventory.
Thank you. You're fading off sort of at the end of every question. I don't know if you can keep your.
Yep, I'll try harder. Thanks.
Thank you.
The RFID software at the time, if I'm not mistaken, it was a name called Merch Manager. I don't think it exists anymore because we use another different platform. But at that time, basically, it was just receiving if the garments were being manually, we were manually encoding and printing RFID stickers to the garment, because it was at an early stage where an RFID label will get attached to the hang tag during the receiving process. So there were some manual counts at the early stages in 2016 and 2017, because we were also in the process of moving to another warehouse based on growth.
And you mentioned that when Exego was implemented in roughly September 2016, that's where items ready to be sort of sold to IFRs would kind of move in the system. What was used prior to Exego?
Audrey.
Did that occur in Audrey?
Yes. When I came on board, Audrey was still, it was a platform that I inherited, and the idea with Audrey was to support wholesale and retail and some type of pick pack. It was just, the platform wasn't stable to support those three entities.
Sorry, to support, did you say three?
Three entities, meaning a wholesale, a retail, and warehouse functions.
Oh, and warehouse. Okay. And it sounds like right now, that is split into NetSuite, Exigo, and Bless. Those three different functions.
Correct.
Who is the company that makes Exigo?
That's the company, Exigo.
Okay. Okay, so Exigo is the company name. Does the software or the database have a name?
I mean, we call it Exigo. The marketing label that we use for the IFR is called Build. So that's their build platform, their back office.
Okay, so Exigo is the company. LuLaRoe kind of labels it Build for the IFRs.
Correct.
Okay, and who is the company that makes Bless?
The company that we use is Retail Success.
So I'm going to potentially introduce some more confusion here. I have heard of portals in Audrey also called Build and Bless. Was that the case at one point in time?
Not that I'm aware of. Build and Bless, that marketing term was introduced late. I mean, in fact, we didn't even label Build until our retail platform was being introduced to the field. So the marketing term Build and Bless came, I'm going to say, sometime in 2017. I can't recall.
So if I see the term Build or I see the term Bless, it can't be referring to Audrey. Is that right?
That's correct. Audrey was the unique name that the IFRs were using at that time that I came on board.
Okay, there's some other concepts I'd like to walk through. What is a payment processor?
The payment processor to what?
I've seen it in road to be remitted to the appropriate sales tax entity.
Correct.
Are there any fees for when LuLaRoe is selling the IFRs?
You broke up pretty bad there.
Okay, let me restate. It was poorly worded anyway. When IFRs purchase wholesale from LuLaRoe, are there any fees associated with those transactions?
Objection form.
The only fees is if you use Visa or MasterCard or an ACH. And retailers have a retailer card that is a debited amount.
Okay, so credit card, sorry, Visa or MasterCard, you said?
Correct. Or Amex as well.
Amex and HCH all have some sort of fee that goes to First American Payments, right?
Right. the ACH may go, ACH doesn't go to First American. I believe that goes to Vericheck because it's a ACH.
Goes to where? You broke up a little bit.
Vericheck.
Can you spell that for the court reporter?
Yes, it's VERICHECT. I'm sorry, ECK.
Okay, and then there's also something called the LuLaRoe retailer card, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
that's actually a debit card. That's not a credit card.
That is correct.
Okay, so the LuLaRoe retailer card is a debit card, and there are no fees associated with that.
That is correct.
Is there any such thing as a LuLaRoe credit card?
The debit card is branded as MasterCard, so they can use that debit card to buy groceries, put gas in their car. So they could use it as a credit card when purchasing consumer goods.
Okay, but there's only one card that LuLaRoe offers, and it's that LuLaRoe retailer card.
Correct. And it's all within our retail platform.
And which company issues that debit card?
EML payments. E as in E, and then M as in Mary, L as in Larry, and then payments. They generate the cards and ship it to the IFR's home address.
Is there any relationship between EML payments and LuLaRoe?
No, all we use EML is to generate the card and to process the funded amounts. So in other words, when the retailer net sales, when they complete a sale or their sales of the day, their net sales get deposited to that EML account. So it's an account for each merchant.
And how does an IFR put money on the debit card?
It's through sales. The retailer cannot load money to the card, as well as LuLaRoe cannot load money to the card either. It's only generated by the sales that are getting captured within their point of sale.
I see. So an IFR sells goods to retail customers, that sort of builds up the balance on the debit card. They can turn around and use that to buy wholesale product from LuLaRoe.
Correct.
And neither LuLaRoe or the IFR can add to that balance.
Correct.
Can the retailer, other than using it as a credit card, can they withdraw?
Yes. So each retailer has each retailer has a dedicated account through EML payments, and it's their own portal where they can check their balance, and they can also withdraw the balance to their appropriate financial institution, their own bank, if they prefer.
And is there any sort of ATM fee essentially in withdrawing the money?
Yeah, it's $1. It's just, I think that's the only fee that's introduced. It's the normal dollar fee and whatever the ATM fee. So if the ATM charges $2.50, add $2.50 plus the $1.
Okay, then that's just a flat fee. It's not a percentage of whatever's taken out.
Correct.
And how long has that debit card been offered by LuLaRoe?
It was introduced. Early 2017 when we were migrating retailers to at the early stages of testing the Bless platform, the retail point of sale. But I think we went fully live mid 2017.
It coincided with the Bless, though. Is that right?
I'm trying to recall if it was 2017 or 2018. I'm trying to reflect when did we introduced it in the early year, and we went live after one litigation that we had a pause for a brief moment.
And,
Joe, we've been going about an hour. Is it a good time for a break?
I'm close to finishing up this credit card line of questioning, so why don't I just wrap this up, then we can take a quick break.
Sure.
And you mentioned that IFRs can check the status through the EML payment site. Does LuLaRoe have the ability to see what IFR's balances are?
I don't, to be honest with you. Again, I segregate myself from the finances. So, and it's a discipline model that we have within the organization. So that would be more finance to answer that question.
Okay, why don't we take about 5-10 minutes? What do you?
Sure.
Going off the record, the time is approximately 3:12 p.m.